I have a new business email, and it's contact@AkWumedia.com. It's a brand new email that's separate from my personal Gmail. So this is specifically for business. And it's for you to email me too if you have any breaking news regarding American soccer that you would like to share with me, any important details, any videos that you personally created that you would like for me to share. Like, let's say, for example, if you want to go and take a picture or record the prospective area that NYC FC is going to build their stadium, whether you want to share, like you want to go to the site at Willets Point and you want to take a picture of that and you want to share it with me, or you want to go to the spot near the Harlem River, you want to record that area and, share it, send it to me, and you want me to talk about it. Or if they decide to go to Coney Island, Long Island, or Staten Island, you want to do that, you can email it to my business website. And also death threats and hate mails. This is largely for you, soccer purists and European fanboys. If I said something that makes you really mad and you just want to curse me out because you don't want to do it on the YouTube video, that's what this email is for also. I can't explain how difficult it is to be an independent media brand covering the sport of American soccer. One of the reasons why I still am below 500 organic subscribers. That's the key word, organic subscribers. So a lot of people nowadays, they buy their subscribers. A lot of these big numbers that you see on YouTube, these are not authentic, real numbers. My numbers are organic. They are natural subscribers. And one of the reasons why my numbers is so small is because I'm covering a sport that is not popular in America. If I was covering English Premier League or La Liga or Serie A or Bundesliga or League One or the Major League in Brazil or Liga MX, I would have had over 500 subscribers by now. And if I was covering gridiron football, like NFL, college football, largely SEC and Big Ten, and maybe Florida State and Clemson, I'll definitely be in the thousands of subscribers right now. Another difficulty it is for covering American soccer is the lack of information that's available. Because this sport is not popular, there's not a lot of news articles that you see on a daily that whether you flipping through your Google News app or you're flipping through Yahoo News or Bleacher Report or any other major sports journalism platform, you usually just see a lot of NFL, college football, NBA, and Major League Baseball news. It's rare that you come across MLS and USL news. As a result of that, those who are working as independent soccer journalists, we have to do extra work. We have to do extra research. And there's a lot of times where we don't get much sleep at night. There's a lot of days where we're spending hours upon hours just searching, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Google, whether it's YouTube, just to get some information about what's going on in the sport. The soccer journalists that are capable of giving you quick information, those guys usually have connections to the leagues. They have connections to MLS and the individual clubs and USL and those individual clubs. The guys that work for the Athletic, they have direct connections to people that work in the MLS and the USL. So it's much easier for them to give information to you rather than independent media workers. So for those of you who are thinking about getting into this, if you're looking for quick money, you may want to consider gridiron football, especially college football. Because when it comes to college football, all you have to do is just talk about realignment, realignment, realignment. That's what college football fans want to hear, at least for the rest of this decade. That's going to be the big discussion all the way through the 2026 World Cup. Maybe the talks will slow down sometime in 2028 or 2030. Another thing, if you really want to start a YouTube channel or your own media platform, you must be willing to spend money. You will spend money more than you make money. If you're not willing to spend money, don't even think about it. It's not worth it. If you are willing to spend money, just be prepared to work. All of this, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because I recently found out during MLS All-Star break, which was a couple of weeks ago. It was at least 2 weeks ago. Is that Don Garber actually did talk about MLS expansion. And he said the cap is going to be either 30 or 32. So in the near future, it is not going over 32. The cap is going to be 30 or 32. But because they want to be along the lines of NFL, and because the NBA is getting ready to expand to 32, the MLS is going to stop at 32. And they are not expanding anymore for the next couple of years after they stop at 32. Yeah, there's no reason for them to continue to expand more than 32, at least for the next 20 years, because it's just too many new teams. And at one point, the league in general is going to have to settle with a certain number so you can create your classes of teams, because you need your top teams, then you need your mid-level teams, then you need your lower-level teams. Right now, the league doesn't have any of that. Everything is just scattered right now because majority of the clubs are still young. Majority of the clubs have not reached puberty yet. So the Boardroom, which is a media platform that's owned by Kevin Durant and somebody else. I think his last name is Kleinman. But this is a platform that is invested by Kevin Durant, the basketball player that wants to leave the Brooklyn Nets after he wanted to leave Golden State. Before he wanted to leave Oklahoma City. He's like, everywhere he goes, he wants to leave. But that's not the point. The Boardroom, they reported during All-Star break. Don Garber spoke with the media, and he said the cap was, they're not going over 32. He said 30 or 32. And the thing, I just wonder, a question like, why wasn't this news? Why wasn't this big news? Why wasn't this broken news by the Athletic, ESPN, Bleacher Report. Why wasn't there any news generated from this? This is big news because there's a lot of teams. There's a lot of cities, there's a lot of cities that want to be MLS status. A lot of these USL championship cities, I would say at least 75%, if not all, 75% of these USL championship cities want to be MLS cities. We know about Sacramento. We know about San Diego. We know about Phoenix. We know about San Antonio. We know about Detroit. We know about Tampa. We know about Indianapolis. We know. So the thing is, MLS, you're going to have to create some unofficial requirement because you know there's going to be a lot of good cities left out. And you might even expand to cities that currently don't even have a USL championship team, which may be a good idea. You know, Jacksonville currently doesn't have a USL championship team. New Orleans, they're in the process of having a team, but they don't have one yet. And what if the MLS comes in and say, we're going to expand to New Orleans? That USL working group, the USL NOLA group, they'll immediately go out of business. And then it'll become, then soccer fans in New Orleans will really have a legitimate chance of getting the stadium that they want in the riverfront. They'll have a better chance of competing with the NBA to get a stadium on that riverfront. I'm sure there's also cities like OKC, Tulsa. They want an MLS team too. Everybody wants a USL team. Every city wants a USL team. Birmingham wants a MLS team. But MLS, you are going to have to create some kind of criteria. You have to start weeding these teams out. These cities out. So, MLS, I'm going to help you out because the purpose of this channel is to help the sport grow, the league grow. So, you're already adding 2 Western teams. St. Louis is going to be 29, and we will see St. Louis starting next season, right in time for the Apple TV deal. And Vegas is going to be 30. That is the belief. The belief is Vegas. And the strong belief is that the MLS is not going to talk to any other cities until land is secured in Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas, it's a battle royale for professional sports teams in Las Vegas right now because we don't even know what the Oakland A's are doing. One moment, the Oakland A's say they're going to stay in Oakland. And then the next moment, they say they're going to go down to Vegas. So it's still a possibility that the Oakland A's of Major League Baseball is going to relocate to Las Vegas. So they're looking for land in Las Vegas. NBA, they say they're going to start a team in Las Vegas. And LeBron James, it's possible that LeBron James is going to be the majority owner for that NBA Las Vegas team. Is LeBron James going to want a new stadium? Because there's already a basketball stadium in Las Vegas where they have the summer league competition at every summer. Is the NBA going to use that same arena or stadium? Or is the NBA is LeBron James going to want to build his own NBA house in Las Vegas? So it's a possibility. Well, no, it's not a possibility. The MLS is in competition for land. They're fighting for land. They're battling against LeBron James in the NBA, and they're battling against the Oakland A's for land. So it's going to be a while before the MLS moves past Team 30, before MLS moves past Las Vegas. Okay, so then after Las Vegas, we're left to two more spots, two more chances for a city to join the MLS before expansion stops. Because I'm telling you right now, once this league goes to 32, there is not going to be any more expansion for at least the next 20 years. For at least the next 20 to 30 years. There is not going to be any more expansion because the league really has to give all of their franchises time to grow and develop and to mature. A lot of these clubs have not even reached puberty yet. Now, so here's the criteria. Number one, the city must have a soccer-specific stadium ready for the MLS. It's not we're talking about having a soccer-specific stadium. It's not we are hoping to have a soccer-specific stadium. It's not we are trying to get it's not that we're trying to convince the politicians to allow us to get a soccer-specific stadium. You must have a soccer-specific stadium ready after the 2026 World Cup. So between the years 2027 and 2030, you must have a soccer-specific stadium ready. Criteria number 2, your city must show that you are serious about professional soccer. That means your city must support the local teams currently. If fan attendance is poor for the USL Championship teams or the NPSL teams or the USL League 1, USL League 2 teams, you're not viewed as a serious soccer city. So these are the two criteria. Criteria number 1, a soccer-specific stadium must be built after the 2026 World Cup, somewhere between the years 2027 and 2030. Now, these are the criteria for teams 31 and 32 now. I'm not talking about Las Vegas. Criteria number 2, your city must show that you are serious about professional soccer. You must show that you are a soccer city. That means you must support the current teams that's already there right now. Because if you're the MLS, you got to find some way to determine which is the right city for you to expand to. You don't want another situation like Orlando where you expanded there and it started off with good fan attendance and now empty seats. Even as Orlando's in the midst of a playoff chase, it's still an empty stadium. You don't want to make that same mistake. You don't want to be in a situation as NYCFC where you're still playing politics, trying to find a stadium. That's why I say you must the 31 and 32 soccer-specific stadium must be already built. Number 2, you must prove that you are a true soccer city. Criteria number 3, billionaire ownership. I know a lot of us don't like to hear this, and at one point I didn't like the thought of it, but I have accepted reality, and so should you. We all just got to accept reality. Billionaire ownership. Look, MLS, you don't want to be in the same situation like you were with Sacramento a couple years ago, where 2 billionaire investors pulled out. One went to Cincinnati, and then another one started a women's soccer team in San Diego. You don't want that same situation. This city must have a billionaire ownership group that is serious about starting a soccer team in that prospective city. It can't be, I'm thinking about it and I verbally agree to start a team. But then a couple months later, you say, never mind, no longer interested. Oh no, that's not going to work. So here are the candidates. And I'm going to have to talk about this in another monologue about the candidates. I'm going to go more into detail on this in another monologue because I'm well over my 15-minute mark. So I'm going to elaborate more on the candidates for MLS Team 31 and 32 in another monologue. But I'm going to just state some of them out right now. All right. Sacramento, San Diego, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Indianapolis, Tampa, Phoenix, San Antonio, and Louisville